let me quickly recap what we did yesterday. So yesterday I was working on this navigation bar. You can see it here. The main place where I'm developing this is Storybook. The current state is that we can collapse this and expand. There's a small bug. I left this as an exercise for my upcoming React job simulator. We can also, the currently highlighted item, this doesn't work here, but here, depends on the route here. Yeah, so the desktop version is pretty much done. I only want to position the navigation bar on the home page. So basically here, it's currently not at the upper left corner of the page. So that's a small thing that I would like to do. And then I would write my first Cypress tests here to cover the navigation bar with automated tests. Not sure what we will test, but probably the collapsing of the bar. Yeah. And then finally, there's also a mobile version of this menu. Here are the Figma designs. So here you can see the desktop version, and here's the mobile version. So behaves slightly different. This is just like collapsing and expanding, but here, if you click the button, when you click the button here, it will slide in from the left, and then when you click the X here, it will slide out to the left. So it's a slightly different behavior, but overall looks very similar. Yeah, so let's get started by positioning this thing on the home page. I created 2 test pages here, but I'd like to get rid of them as soon as possible, so I don't accidentally commit them. So here's like a placeholder home page. I'd like to first get rid of everything basically. This was just for testing purposes. Components, and then can just have a div for now. Then the head is the title of the application. We can change that in a bit. And then the main content. We should probably extract this to a separate layout component or something at another point, but for now we can leave it as it is here. So I remove the title. And then we only have the sidebar navigation. Let's see. Okay. And then I'll basically do the same. Get rid of this one here. Now I can just copy paste everything over here. It's just a test page. Anyways, I limit to issues. Yeah. So the title here can be prologue. This is just like an application for yeah. Maybe quickly. The application here is an error tracking tool. Maybe you know Sentry or another app. So basically you have different projects here, front-end web, React, for example, or Node.js or Python. And then the errors, you can log the errors from the application, and they will be tracked here in the error monitoring tool. And then the issues, you can visit or watch the issues here and resolve them or filter them and stuff like this. Yeah, so just a quick explanation of what this is doing. So error monitoring. Okay, this doesn't actually matter too much. So now let's check why this is still the issues page. So let's go to, yeah, that looks much better. And then I also have the routes defined. So I want the home page, like as I showed in the designs. This one here should be like the default page or the home page, the root. So I will just make this the root, and then now this is also being highlighted. Okay. So this looks good. I will try to navigate to the issues page, and this also still looks good. So we're already done with this. So I can just, let me check this in as well. I will adjust the title here. As I said, we should probably move this to like a wrapper component that we can use on every page. But for now, since we don't have any real pages yet, I'll leave it as it is now. So position navigation on pages, let's go like this. And then now it gets a bit more exciting. I haven't worked with Cypress for a while now, so let's see how much I will struggle with this. So the first thing is that we need to run this app on like our local host 3000. This is the default. And then we have this, I already set this up in a previous video. You can check the channel if you want to know more about the setup. But basically, I already have the Cypress command here in the in package.json. So I can just use run Cypress. So now the Cypress UI should open. Yeah, okay, there it is. Maybe if you're not familiar with this, there's a test. This will break, of course, because I removed all the test page. But where's this actually opening? So what we should see now is the Chrome. Here, Chrome is opening. Okay, so, I don't know, maybe my machine is a bit slow. So Chrome will open now, and we can basically watch the test running on the real application. So now the current test, I can show you where it is. Let me move this off screen. So we have our tests here. Storybook, Cypress, yes. Fixtures, okay. And here's our test file. And it's now basically visits the homepage and checks if there's a title with welcome to Prolog. I removed this title, so the test is failing, as expected. So now we'll just make a rename the file to navigation, also maybe sidebar navigation to be more specific. And now I won't test everything. It might make sense to actually test that the issues link is working, and maybe also the projects link. And then I would like to test that the collapse button here is working. So test links. Yeah, this is still true. And then let's see, I have to check the documentation already. So what we want to do is get, for example, the issues link, and then check that the URL is correct. So let me check here. Cypress. Get anchor. I'm much more familiar with the React testing library, but so let's start with maybe we should be more Cypress. Let's check the docs directly. API get so this seems to be something that we can use. Let's check if that works, and then href should be issues. Click. Okay. So not sure this might run automatically. Otherwise, I can just rerun this. No tests found. Okay, yeah. I just renamed the test. So you can see it again. And now when I click on this, let's see. Okay, it reopens. Okay, so it seems like it worked. We should be able to step through each step, but maybe this is very slow. Here, okay, perfect. So here you can see this is highlighting the URL. Then it gets the issues link. Then we click on it, and then you can see that finally the URL includes the issues page. So Yeah, basically this already. So, the goal was uh, to test the links. Now, actually, if we had something, um, let's call it, like, rename this. So now this test should actually fail. So basically, since we test an href, this already tells us that this is working. I'm not sure how much. Maybe we can just write like this. So this doesn't work. This works, okay. Yeah, I will keep that in mind and just continue with the next test. Would actually be ideal to get the link by text. And that's what I would typically do in React testing library. So let's just quickly research that. Get by text. So maybe we get the DOM element containing the text. Okay. Let's also check Stack Overflow. There is also a way to use React testing library API with Cypress. I'm not sure if it makes sense to use it here actually, but so I'm not sure if that works. Yeah, so this also works. Yeah, so this person here is describing this. So maybe I should actually just install this. let's give this a try. The benefit of this is that it's very close to React testing library. So you learn this once and can apply it also to like integration tests. So what do we need to do? We will add this here, tsconfig. Compilation types. It's not here yet, so I will just add this somewhere. And then we need to open Cypress support commands. And add this here. Okay, let's see if it works already. This is C1 find. So we have this again. Okay, so now let's check if the React testing library API works now with Cypress. Once all of this setup is done and it works, then it should be easier to continue writing tests. So it seems like this worked. Find by text. So this got the issues link, and now click on it, and then the issues is included in the URL. Now the last thing that I would like to do is Cypress, like test the URL of Cypress. So we can include this. I'm not sure if there's okay, so this again uses Cypress, so URL, and then should contain would be better to test equality or ends with, I'm not sure. So let's check should, kind of syntax. So chainers. Any valid chainer that comes with chai. So this will be useful later on. and then maybe this, and this is probably okay. I guess it's enough now to cy.url and then contains slash issues. So sorry, should and include or should equal HTTP localhost. So this would be a bit stricter. Okay, cool. This looks already quite nice. This is the first link. Then we could also check the second link, so projects. These both pages exist at the moment, so both links work. The others, I don't have pages for this, so this will just be a 404. So I will omit that for now. Yeah, one thing that would be nice, as you see, we use JS files here. Maybe we can, let's see how complicated it would be. So what's the problem here? Okay. So we don't have an export here, and that's what TypeScript complains about. Let's quickly do a search here. Let's see. Can I have this problem? Doesn't seem like that. So I could just add this, but it seems a bit strange. Yes. actually don't have these problems. Okay, let's continue. I will fix that later, I guess. Or we can do the export, whatever trick here. So moving to the TS file, it should give us autocomplete, so or code completion. So if we now write the next thing that I would like to test is collapsing. So it links site navigation. Collapsible, I guess that's the spelling. So and now let's do the same again. We can actually move this into a before each, or so we don't have to do that over and over again. This works. And then is collapsible, so we would UI find text and then collapse clicks. So now this should collapse everything. Let's check that first. Okay, just a second. We renamed the file. Let's see if it actually works with TypeScript. So here's the file again. Here the Cypress UI is opening. Takes a bit of time. Okay, everything looks fine. And yeah, this actually worked. So the next step is that I actually need to check that it is collapsed. And yeah. So we can, one thing that happens is the logo is exchanged. So you can actually also interact with this here. So the logo is small and the text disappeared. So one thing that we could do is to check that the text is not visible anymore. This of course has the problem that if the navigation bar would disappear completely, the test would also still work. We could also add like some kind of data to the component. So for example, here we have the sidebar navigation, and the sidebar navigation has this flag, is sidebar collapsed. So what we could do is data, I'm not sure how to use this really rarely, so like data attribute. data collapsed. And then we could collapse. Let's see what turns out. We don't need this one. Let's close some windows here. And then let's see how Cypress deals with this. So get, and then I guess there was an example for data attribute. So what you often see is data test ID. See why find by row. Actually, we could also try this navigation. Let's see what happens here. This would actually solve our problem, because if we know that there is a navigation, so this navigation, it contains links. We can check that there are links inside. Can we chain these? Let's see. Row. This is more for testing now. I'm not sure if I will actually. What's the row? Link should have length, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess. Okay, cool, that worked. Let's also just break this test once. Otherwise, we're not sure that it's actually working. So, but it seems to be working. So this is testing that there are still, that the navigation is open and the links are working. But find by text, and then again use the issues link, for example. So now let's check how we can actually test that. That something is not on the screen. Cypress testing library. I guess this is actually not. Find by role. Let's see if this works. So should not exist. So here you can see find by role and then should not exist. Let's also do this one actually here, because here we just find some text. So this might be a bit nicer. And then here as well. And then we can also roll and then link, I guess. Is this correct? Not sure. Roll options, and then I guess name. Let's see if this works. Then we are actually certain that this is okay. Doesn't seem to work. Yeah, probably because okay, anyways, I guess it's this one is enough. Find by text issues should not exist. Okay, I guess this is actually enough for the testing part. Let's commit this. So what did we do? We install testing library. I don't want to have this. Let's Cypress testing library. Now we can actually remove this, so we don't. It's always nice if you don't add something just for the sake of testing. And add tests on navigation. Okay, I will leave this open because actually we're done with testing. So we did this, and now it's implement mobile menu. Honestly, I'm not sure. We did already quite a lot here. So I'm not sure if we should include more in this, more changes in this pull request. Let me go to GitHub and then not sure where this profile. Yeah, this might be it. So we have that we quickly explain. This is the GitHub repository for the app. It's currently public. I think I will leave it public, so you can also yeah, use this as reference. So now I pushed the branch to the GitHub repository, and I can create a pull request here. I use some settings here in the branches. This is a branch protection rule, and this says that that it requires a pull request before merging for the main branch. So if we want to merge any branch to the main branch, we need to use a pull request, and we cannot just go via the CI, git CI, and use git merge, whatever. But we first push the branch to GitHub. Then we click compare and I don't remember what it was. Anyways, we open a pull request, and yeah, then we can check. So you can see there's already quite some commits here. I worked on it for a few days already. Let's check. So here's some setup. Storybook main. So yeah, this is not ideal, to be honest, because like we have a sidebar navigation pull request, and there's a lot of like storybook setup here. Then this also belongs to storybook setup, mock use router hook here. And this is the actual navigation bar. So one, two files, then we have story here, sidebar navigation, the routes is also basically set up, then the navigation context. This is the Cypress test. Some more Cypress setup here, then package.json, more setup. And then what's this? This is just like removing the pages. Yeah, so as you can see, here are some icons as well. So there's already quite some stuff in one PR. So if I would do this in a real team, 35 plus 35 files changed. So if I would do that in a real team, somebody might complain that this is like way too big to review. It might take a long time to get a review for this, so it might also take a long time to get this merged. So usually it's much better to separate this whole setup stuff into its own PR. Now we have one remaining ticket. I will just create it for now without description. We can also turn this into a draft, I guess. So not here. Here we can convert this into a draft. This doesn't mean anything now, but since we might still continue working on this, the teammates would understand that this is still work in progress and wouldn't start reviewing it yet. Yeah, I guess for now it's okay to continue working on this last implement mobile manual. We won't add so much overhead, I guess. So let's just continue with it. So the mobile design here, this navigation, sidebar navigation turns into like a header. And then on clicking this hamburger icon, will expand, slide in from the left. So let's first do this here. So the question is, how will we do that? So we have the header and looks a bit. So I guess this is opaque. So there's some, yeah. So you would actually see the page below all of this. Now, one problem that I see is that this header is actually expanded like over the complete width, 375 pixel, and here it isn't. So it looks like the header is disappearing and this sidebar is moving in. We can just try and implement this and see how it looks like. And if it doesn't look good at all, we just we have to contact the designer again and see like get their input on this. Yeah, but let's think about different ways of building this actually. So we could build this as one component. So basically what we have here already. And then this as a separate component. So then this whole thing would slide in, I guess. Or might make more sense actually to talk to the designer first and then ask them if this thing here, if the header should also be expanded here, which would make more sense from my perspective. Yeah, and then only have like this part here sliding in, and this X would replace this this hamburger icon. And this part here would slide in. I think that makes more sense. Let's start implementing it like this for now, and then I will talk to the designer again, and then yeah, we can see if that works. But I guess this is more of a design mistake here. Yeah, so let's build this header at first. Now the question is, we can give this a fixed height and then move the rest off screen. So this would mean, like, alternatively, we could also have like this as a complete separate component and reuse this navigation bar and like have this on desktop and then this completely separate inside a header on mobile, and just render them separately. That would also be an alternative. yeah, I guess it makes sense to take a break here and come back in a few minutes. We'll just prepare a quick screen here. Okay, so I'm back. Still not 100% sure how to tackle this ideally. So what I want to do now is to create the mobile navigation bar. And I think it makes sense to have this part here be the header, and this could be the navigation itself. And then actually this might be the navigation. Yeah, so currently the logo is inside the navigation. We could do something like this. Probably we will need something. Let me just fiddle around a bit. Here, a header, and the logo can be in the header. This obviously breaks a bit, but yeah, we can call this header, and then so we should have the same background color. Also on the desktop, it should have the same width. Then also the same padding. We can extract these into shared styles. Let's see, but for now, so it looks like this. So this needs a bit of different padding here. This should be. So what I want to do is remove the top padding. Let me check here. Easier to inspect. So this now has padding 2 rem. So this shouldn't have bottom padding, I guess. Check. So we could actually, how does this look like? So here the spacing is 64 pixels. It also doesn't look aligned properly. So the spacing again, what does this mean? Open the styles here. So 8 pixels to REM, this 32, and 4 pixel. So 32 at the top, and then we could make this 24 at the bottom. So this would be 6 maybe, I'm not sure. 24 would be this. And then we would only have padding bottom here. And this would be spacing 8. No, we also need the, yeah, this would also actually be correct. So no padding at the top, and then spacing 4. Okay, now the question is still why we have so much. Is there a margin or something? So this is pretty. Okay. So yeah, this actually has a margin. Left and right and bottom. So where's the logo here? Let's remove this margin. We can also actually have this. I'm not sure if we need the margin at all. Let's see. It seems like we need. This is actually because the menu items, they have some additional padding. So let's see what that is. Spacing 3, so this would be 3 is 0, 7. Okay, let's just keep this, the margin here. So this should be now vertically 0 and horizontally 0.75. And this is again, looks quite off, I have to say. Let me check with a screenshot. So here it is. No, it's actually okay. Great. So now we separated the header. It looks more and more dirty, I have to say. So we separate the header, the navigation into a header, and then navbar. I don't really like that we have so many props passed down to the components. What we can do is we can call this container. Probably have to do this anyways. Container. And then we give this maybe this will be easier. Let's check. So what we can do here is CSS. This is style components. And then we can make the header let's define this later. Okay. So the pixel. So we can basically style the children like this. And then maybe get rid of these. Let's try this quickly. If it works and if it actually improves anything. So we can just like okay, let's check. Okay, seems to work. This might actually be nicer, easier to understand, I'm sure. And we have also the logo, which should be (23) pixel. Still not really happy with this. Tying the logo with, because this is dependent on the actual logo image. But yeah, it's also good enough for now. So this still works, which is good. Now we can get rid of these. we only have this collapse on the container now. So now we need to use some media queries. So actually, I would like to use a mobile first approach. And this would mean, let's see, documentation here. So I guess we can just use simple media queries, but not 100% sure. Media queries. So this is now the first naive approach. Max width. So that this will be mobile first. So mobile first means that we have the default styles are mobile, and then min width says like from a width onwards of 678 pixel here. So basically this would be our desktop breakpoint. These styles will be applied. So for mobile, I would make this 100%. Actually, so let's trigger, I guess we can. Oh, this is the theme. So let's see. Large mobile, what's that? So as you can see, we can emulate the screens here, which is pretty nice. So this looks already like our mobile device. You can see that the width of the header is now 100%. We don't have padding because it's set here. The padding will be a bit different on mobile. So this is 16, and then this is centered. So the header will have fixed height, I guess, 64 pixel. 64 pixel, and we can make this display flex and line items. Show where my ID this is code. Yeah. So this would be that, and then we have padding of 0 and what's the rest? Check. So we don't need all of this, I guess. Theme. Yes. And now we had 16 pixel, I guess, padding here. So logo 16. This would be one REM, and one REM is 4. So now we should have, yeah, 0 pixel padding here and 16 here, which is good. But I guess it also still has some margin involved. So this actually looks like a bit of a design mistake again here. Let's see. This is here 12. Here it's also 12, but the padding of this is 8. The padding here is 16. So yeah, let's see. We have margin here of the logo. It's 3. I'm not sure. I will. We should also, yeah, this breakpoint, we will replace it later on, I guess. So I will just make the margin set it only on desktop. So this is cool. And now this whole thing should be hidden at first. So we can actually, let's just make this let's see how that display none, just to check how that looks like. Yeah, that should be fine. What I will do now is move this off the screen. So we can make a transform and then translate X. Let's see if that's what we need to do. And then 50, just to check if this is like half, showing in half. Yeah. Okay. So we will have this. There's still a, maybe we call it 1%. There seems to be a small small border at the right. So here it doesn't seem like this, but I didn't toggle mobile view, of course. Let's inspect. So I'm gonna do display none. It's still there actually. So I'm not sure looks like this is actually a border of the style of Storybook, so let's ignore it. So yeah, that seems to work fine. Then the next step would be to have the hamburger icon here. I will quickly export this. This should be SVG, then I will call it application have menu button, menu. I will also export this one. Also SVG. Close, let's call that. Okay. So we will have 2 more icons here. Close and menu. And now let's first render this one. Source equal slash icons slash menu that is SVG. Okay, and this seems to work. Now we don't have logo. What else is complaining about? Okay, yeah. So complains that we should use the next image component. Next image has the disadvantage that we need to set a height or a size, and I don't really want that at the moment. So, but by the way, next image is a great component. If you have like real images and not SVGs, they can be they will be optimized. If you have JPEGs or PNGs, they will be optimized during build time to WebP or something. So this is a really nice component, but for our small SVGs, I guess it's not necessary. What I will do here is to add a component here. Do we need this? Let me check first. So the header is already display flex, and we can just space between. Okay, this is now. Okay, this should be again. I guess the problem is that the padding is added. Should be a better way actually to do this. But yeah, so now it's fixed here. So we have the menu icon here, and this should be visible on mobile but not on desktop. So that's why we need to menu icon again this media query and display none. So this should be now hidden on desktop applications. Yes, okay. Maybe we can, the next step would be to implement the button handler, click handler. And I will create a small commit here. So renders mobile like this. And now we can implement the click handler here. So this should be a button. This file is getting crowded. So we actually had this button reset styles already. So I will, for now, just copy paste this. But maybe we should extract this into a separate component. So menu button. Let's see. Let's inspect this. It moved a bit up, so I'm not sure. Okay. So because there's some block element, I guess. Is it this or? Yeah, so can add display block to the menu icon. Now it should move down. Correct. And now we can actually add the click handler. So here on the desktop bar, we had the problem that we cannot simply use state because the collapse state should persist when we navigate to a new page. For this one, for the mobile version, it's actually not important. So we can use a separate state. My first idea was to reuse this collapse state, but the problem is that on mobile, the default is that this is collapsed, and on desktop, the default is that this is not collapsed. So we have different states here. Let's see how that works with a separate state. Is mobile menu open, set mobile menu open, and false. So first we can do this on click. set mobile menu open. Now we can simply use this. It's mobile menu open. Okay. So this should toggle it now. And as I said, I will talk to the designer, but I think this is not feasible. Like, it would make more sense to have this whole thing implemented. This navigation bar, the header also have full width here. So let's implement this way, and if the designer complains and wants it actually to be this exact way as it is in the designs, we can still change it. So this is then a different image or icon. So if we click this, it should turn into X. Perfect. Okay, and then as we saw, we should also have where's the menu button, cursor pointer. Okay, that's good. Now, as I said, this is a bit stupid that we have this defined in multiple places. So let's add a new folder. Let's call it button. And then I'm not sure how. Let's see if there's something like MUI that already has some naming for this. It's always a good idea to copy paste from other sources, components, and then button. Let's see if they have something. So and this is the text. Okay. Text. What about I'm not really happy with this name because we can also have icons inside the text, of course. Icon button. I think there's one name also button. It's called Ghost or something. Ghost buttons are transparent calls to action that appear on the website. Yeah, so actually, I forgot we have a UI kit and we have the buttons here. So this would be empty. Okay, so the style is called empty for us. So I have this thing here, button props, and then we I'm not sure if we need that. I think this is smarter for now, at least. And then we could have like styles. Appearance, I guess this could not name. And this could be an enum. Enum appearance. Let's be more specific. And then we would call this empty. Appearance would be like this. An appearance, and then we would choose export const. Okay. That's actually so. Now we can use props key structure here. There was a nice article about defining these kind of like different styles in a maintainable way. I will have a look maybe, because this can easily get really nasty. Appearance. So we can use a switch statement here, and then button appearance dot empty. Oh no, sorry. Appearance. That's not that often that I write switch statements. And now we can CSS is again from style components, and here we could actually have this whole thing, the button reset. So let's see, this is okay. This is still not used, it says. Not sure why. So let's also add a index.ts file just as the public API. Okay, so now we can import button here, remove all of this stuff. Actually, we should probably hide the whole button on desktop. And this would be the default actually. So maybe we don't need this enum stuff right now. We have this button here as well, so I can remove this stuff and then call this button. Unstyled button maybe. I like to follow this pattern, doesn't really matter how you call it, but there are usually name conventions when you use style components. So now we have this here. This looks good. So we have this one here. Okay, I will for now remove all of this stuff. This is nice, but we don't need it yet. So we can work with this later. And yeah, so we added the button. We can create another commit. So it's mobile menu button. And then finally, we can use this to make the navigation appear. So is mobile menu open? Then we have the navigation here. We add the type. And I guess I need to restart my computer as it's pretty slow. Is mobile menu open? So if it is open, then we should do this. If not, we should use this transform, translate 0. Okay, so now this should actually pop up, the navigation bar, when we click here, and yes, it does. Cool, that looks already quite good. Now let's see what else we have to do. So there should be an animation, obviously, and we can add a transition here, transition, and then transform. I don't remember syntax here. Transition. I don't like this W3 schools. So yeah, that's actually already started here, transform, and then I'm not sure. Let's check 300 milliseconds. Okay, this looks great. Now there's one more problem that I see. It's the overlay here. So from the design, it's not clear how this overlay is supposed to behave. Could also slide in from the left to the right. So that's one option. Or alternatively, we can make it like change the opacity, so like fade in effect. Yeah, since the design didn't specify it, the ticket didn't specify it as well. We obviously missed it in the refinement session. So let's just make a decision here. In a real team, you would probably pick the designer, but yeah, it's me taking the decision here at the moment. So just add the menu overlay somewhere. This should overlay the whole application actually. So can use something like position fixed. Let's just give it a try here. Menu overlay. And then also pass this here. Don't have the component yet, so I can div. Now we also let me move this around a bit because so we have the header, container, header, logo, menu button, menu icon, menu overlay. That's enough just to make it a bit clearer. And here I want to have the same prop. Maybe we can also move it here later. But yeah, for now, that's fine. Then menu overlay, position fixed, and then top 0, left 0. Would like to have 100% width and 100 view height should be enough. And then background color. Let's just try something out for now. Actually, okay. So if we have the header, it's try this in just to quickly change this. So just some random number here. This would be 1,999. Actually, this doesn't work, so maybe we have to move this. Let's refresh. So this works. So the thing I want to do is I want to show this on top of every page, like everything, but not on top of the header. So the header should be I'm not sure why it doesn't. If I would make this position absolute, so then it works, of course. Yeah, this is like, maybe I should take the CSS for Devs course. Fixed set index. So this is over. Okay. That was easy enough. So let's see, we have the set index, something like 999, and then navigation. Should be position relative. As well as the header. Okay, so this works now. Let's see. The color of this is 344. So it's 700 and then opacity of 60. 60, yes. Where's the overlay here? It's theme dot colors dot gray 700. and then opacity 60%. And this should only be, we can actually make the opacity 0 by default and display none. And then when this one will open, when this is triggered, then we can make this maybe just like this. So mobile menu open, then this is 60%, otherwise this is 0. And the same goes for this menu, then should be block, otherwise no. Okay, and then we can also add the transition, opacity, and width and milliseconds. Let's see how that looks like. Doesn't work. Okay, maybe we need to let's try it like this. I'm obviously not really sure. Why this happens. All the time. So does this actually work? Okay, so like this, it works, obviously. So I'm not sure. %. Oh. Doesn't seem to make a difference. Yeah, of course we have the display none in there. So the only thing that I'm afraid of is that since we have an overlay here, this is always there, that it might cause problems with the underlying content. Okay, so now this works. I think it looks pretty nice. Yeah, the only thing is, so if we do this, now inspect, we will always hit this this one here. At the very least, this will be very annoying to debug. So we could use an animation, I guess. Could use something like this. And then I guess we could just tell it here at the end to move this off screen. Components keyframe. Let's give that a try. Not sure, maybe somebody has a better idea. Fade in, and then we have opacity from 0 to opacity 60%, and then fade out be 60% to 0. And now we would just use an animation here. Instead of this one, be this will probably trigger another problem, because we don't want the animation on the first render. Fade in. So when you open, fade in, now let's fade out. Don't want this to be infinite. So let's see. Okay, this looks a bit stupid. Not touching this one, but like it's not suitable for us. Here's an animation. This is exactly what we have, right? Okay, I guess I will slowly stop here. This looks still wrong, so yeah, I'm not sure. My brain is a bit fried at this moment, and probably there's some simple solution, but I can't really figure it out now. So this one is actually looks very nice. The only thing is that the overlay is still there, and yeah, this will be really annoying during debugging. Let's do a quick check. Transition. Okay, this is actually smart, yeah. Just add a delay. So let's check if and then translate X, see, it's 100%. And then transform 0 and 300 milliseconds. So now this should be delayed by 300 milliseconds. This might cause another problem, of course. Let's see. Yeah, this is of course not correct. Translate is when you open 0, otherwise doesn't really matter, 100% or minus 100%. Let's see. So this is transform. Translate x Okay, this seems to work at least. And now we will do this. So translate 0, translate 100. Looks a bit like it's immediately gone. Let's do the transition like 1000. Okay, this works. Yeah, so it's basically immediately gone. But honestly, I don't really care at this moment anymore. Just to be sure that transition, that I understood this correctly. So property duration, timing function, and delay. So this should be correct. Can also check here. Transition. This is transition is not applied anymore. Probably because we duplicated the definition here. So let's see now. Transition also doesn't work. So that seems to be transition transform. It seems to be invalid property value. So okay, 0. Okay. So now this works, and then 300 milliseconds. This also works. So now the transform is from 0 from 100, so off screen, to 0 to on the screen. And it happens in 0 seconds, but with a delay of 300 milliseconds. So the fade in won't be visible here. And this should actually only happen when the mobile menu is not open. So let's see if that works actually. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. And then we have the last problem here. This is actually too high. So we would want this to be 600 view height minus 64 pixel, because that's the height of the header. So on mobile, the nav should be height. So this is padding minus 64 pixel. Should probably define this. Where's the other? Okay, this was not completely correct, obviously. So this one should be let's get a calculator. 896 minus 64 should be 832, and we have 782. Okay, actually there is an error in the calculation, I guess, because we have 2 times, but we removed the top padding from this, so this should be correct now. Yeah. Okay, cool. These are quite a few style components here. I don't find that super readable at the moment, but it should be okay for now. Maybe we can do a cleanup later. So what did we do here? We basically added the animation, I guess. That was most of this. Opens mobile navigation. And then finally, let's check in then the desktop version. This is broken now. Surprise. So let's see so the header. Still okay. No, the padding is probably not correct anymore. (32 and 24). And we have, let's see, this is 32 and 24, but the height is fixed here. Okay, so first thing, we unset the height on height. Unset the height on desktop, and we don't want to have this overlay on desktop. Then the navigation, we also need to basically remove the transform here. Transform none. Let's see if that's enough already. Looks pretty good. Let's see. So this is still something about the height. It's wrong. Let's check this here. So okay, 100. Okay, yeah, we should have this one here. Yeah, the problem is now that actually we can. So the problem is that we don't know the height of the header here. Since we didn't set it fixed. What we could do is rather this like set the fixed width to this one here. So let's see, we have fixed width. This would make much more sense, I guess. So these stupid calculations would be gone. So this is 280. So we can just make this props is collapsed. CSS. Actually it's not 50, but let's see. With 280 pixels. And then collapsed, it's what? 83. That's also a funny number. So then we would need this stuff here, I guess. This would just be 100%. And the navbar as well. Okay, let's check. So this one is 280. It's 280. And this one now. So this is horizontal padding of 1 rem. Guess we can move this also up here. And this doesn't work because then we have the background color. Then we would have the calculation here still. Calc. So let's see, is this correct now? Is the padding? Okay, this looks good. And now this navigation bar should have view height. Then we could make display text. Hope I don't break too much of the mobile design again. Flex direction. It should be no, I guess. No. Column. And then this should be height. That's it. And then this one here. Let's check if it works. Flex 1. Okay. Yeah, that seems to work now. Now the only thing is Oh, did this break again? Okay, this seems to be fine. Now the only thing is that this should be 100% on mobile. So this one. So we need a media gray here, and then on desktop we want this to be 280 pixel. So there's some padding involved, I guess. So this should be this looks actually fine. And then some padding here. So okay, and then this one should get maximum width of 312. This is actually also different than on mobile. So the nav bar should go into desktop, and here 312. So this looks fine, and this also looks fine. I guess the last thing that we have to do is to adjust the padding here in the menu items. Let's see, what did we do here? It's like fix desktop styles, and then finally let's do the menu button and menu link. They will have a bit less padding, I guess, or actually the sidebar navigation has a bit less padding. So this is the list. Let's check. So this one has padding, but that's inside, and that stays the same. This has padding, so the nav actually has less padding on mobile. Currently it's 16, and I guess it was 8. Where's the padding here? So this is desktop, and mobile we should have 4. So 4 is 16. 2, okay. And this is also in the bottom. Sorry. So should be it. Okay. Now it looks better aligned. Let me stop here. Tomorrow we'll check if there's something left to clean up. And otherwise, we can create the pull request and merge it tomorrow. Let's see. So it's the last fix this padding mobile. Now let's push everything, and here everything is okay. Perfect. So tomorrow I would like to review all these changes and check if there's anything that we can clean up, do differently also. But yeah, for now, let's call it a day.